Okay, and also, can you all turn your audio off just for a minute, and then I will invite you all to turn it on and in sequence, and we'll have a little chat. So today is about just like getting back into life and reconnecting with each other and just making sure everyone's okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to just come on screen and in a very quickly, because there is quite a few of us. Oh, hang on, Julia's here. Admit Julia. In just a very few, sentences, just tell us how you're feeling and what you want out of what you would like out of 2021. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to absorb those questions. So I'm not going to, go right and go. So, because you need to have a think about those. So they're the questions I'm going to ask you: how you're feeling and what do you want out of 2021. And I'm going to do that in a little while. I'm going to go around the room so you each have an opportunity to comment and speak. Julia, if you could mute your mic, darling, that'd be great. And Carol, I think, I don't know whether you can mute your mic as well. That'd be superb. Thank you, Carol. It just gives feedback. But first of all, I just thought I'd go over the couple of things that I said on the setup email that I would do. And one is talk about sales funnels, and you think, well, that's a really odd thing to decide to talk about. But the reason I'm going to talk about sales funnels is because on the survey, a lot of people said they want to know how to sell themselves, how to do it themselves, instead of relying on galleries and relying on art fairs and relying on all these established things that are out of our control and aren't happening right now. That's how we've traditionally, as artists, we've waited for someone to set up an exhibition, or we've waited for someone, or self-initiated an exhibition and tried to find someone to fund it, or tried to find somewhere to have the exhibition. Or we've relied, often I get when people come to me for one-to-one, I say, what is your goal? And they say, I want to get into a gallery. I mean, that's stock in phrase, really. I want to get into a gallery. They don't really understand what that concept means a lot of the time. And that there are a spectrum of galleries. Or I want to apply to an art fair or a society, or I want to get an award, etc. And all of these things are sales funnels. They're all means to getting you to sell your artwork 99% of the time. Some people, and it's quite rare, some people just make work to fulfill something inside of themselves and they never want to sell it to anyone. So their sales funnel is leading to just showing it, just exhibiting it. So it's a relationship funnel. So it's a funnel, and it's either a sales to get sales at the end of the funnel, or it's to build a relationship with someone because you want to show them something that will change them emotionally or give them something of added value. And a sales funnel is terminology that we see a lot in, industry. Hang on, Vivian's here as well, gradually admitting people. So a sales funnel is, it's kind of salesman speak. It's like what secondhand car salesmen say, people who sell you stuff in when you're doing training in, if you were working for a retailer, they'd be talking about sales funnels. And what I've noticed during this last year of COVID and everyone going online and all this stuff being online now is the word sales funnel is being used a lot on Facebook and Instagram. You're reading it. Build your sales funnel, training course for your sales funnel, etc. They don't really tell you how to do it. They tell you can buy a course on it. You can pay a subscription and get someone to do it for you. But actually, it's really easy if you understand what a sales or relationship funnel is. It's just a giant magnet, really, and it's in the shape of a funnel. So it's not that tricky, and you don't need to do a course, and you don't need to pay someone if you know what it is they're talking about. They tie these things up in jargon so that they can get money out of you. And it's something that now in this new world where you haven't got a gallery, because galleries are part of an artist sales funnel, societies are part of an artist sales funnel, awards are, art fairs are. All of these things are part of your funnel leading to your end goal, your target. And a lot of these things you can do yourself. And it starts with making relationships. So you start with lots of people and you gradually pull them through in various different ways to your end target. And I'm going to screen share a little diagram that I found that I thought really kind of shows what this means. Now, I'm going to show this to you, multiple participants at a time, and I'm going to work out how to do it in a minute. Here we go. If only I were that clever. Share. Voila. No, you're not seeing what I want you to see. That's the Zoom screen. Okay, let's try a different screen. Screen. I did try photos and it didn't. I'm hoping that that one will do it. No, it's still showing you that, which, oh no, it's not. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm showing you?
Yes, we can.
It's not,
it's
you're
sales funnel with the 2 people and then coming down with the magnet.
Perfect, you can see it, good. That's weird because it's not showing it to me. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that because you can all see it. So this is what I'm talking about. So a sales or relationship funnel, depending on what your target goal is, starts with just making everyone aware. In the biggest part of the funnel, it's just making everyone aware that you're there, that you exist. Now, in the world, I think someone's got, Charlie, could you turn your, mute your mic. There we go, that's better. In the world, or someone else might have their mic on as well. And just all check that you've muted your mics. Because I'm getting some feedback, that's all. Vivian, let's mute Vivian. There we go. When we see these things being talked about on social media, they're saying, get 1 million people and, you know, sell £1 million worth of stuff in a year. And that's not, you know, we all have our own aspirations and our own desires. And quite frankly, you know, artists generally are absolutely super delighted to sell one painting. So if we sell 2 or 3, that's great. But, you know, we're not looking for 1 million people. So when you're talking about a funnel, it sounds like a grandiose thing, but actually it's not. It's just finding your tribe and chatting to them and building relationships with them in the first instance. And at the moment, we're doing a lot of that online, obviously, but actually you can do it in different ways. You don't have to do all of this relationship building online. And if you think about some of the ways other companies try and build relationships with you offline, I know that I've been receiving, when I receive my, I've got a magazine subscription to O Magazine. And once a month I receive that magazine. And in the magazine, as well as the magazine that I've ordered, I get 2 or 3 of these absolutely beautiful cards, postcards. And they've got their branding on and everything. And that's fine, I don't mind that. But they're beautifully illustrated. And I've been using those then, sending them out to friends saying, how are you? Or just keeping in touch, writing, you know, like you would if you were writing a postcard if you were on holiday and you haven't seen someone for a while. Wish you were here. Really looking forward to going out for a coffee. And I've been sending them. So I get 2 or 3 a month and I've been sending those out to different people. And of course that is creating the O Magazine, helping them create the O Magazine relationship and sales funnel, because the friend I sent it to not only receives a lovely message from me, but then goes, oh, what's this O Magazine? Oh, I haven't heard about that. And then they'll probably put it into their Google or whatever and then look at it. And it might be out of 10 people that I send them to, 1 person might go, oh, that's exactly what I've been looking for. So that's instead of doing everything online in the way that we're being told to, which is the sales funnels that we're being pushed are social media and email, you can do it in the real world. So that's one thing, is, you know, sending cards, and they could be cards from your own artwork. I've got a great artist who, I'm going to admit Sophie wants to come in. I've got a great artist that I've connected with recently called Graham Cullis, and He's new to art. He's been doing it for about 18 months now. Sophie, could you mute your mic, love?
Where's the mic?
You. We love hearing your children, but it creates echo. So I'm going to interview Graham, and Graham's come to the art world with a completely fresh perspective, and he's created a relationship and sales funnel for himself, which is working really well. And he's using the Patreon platform, and I don't know whether any of you have seen the Patreon platform. And that's where he set himself up as a on the Patreon platform, and you can then deliver content directly to people that support you, and they can pay to support you, anything from £1 a month up to whatever fee they can do. You can either give them levels 1, 5, 10. It's a bit like crowdfunding, or they can pick their own level. And what he's been doing is, first of all, he did it to his friends and family and said, I'm feeling really down, and I've been working in sales for the last 10 years, and I want to really get my art career going, but I need some support. Would you be interested in buying a painting from me? Or would you be interested in just supporting me a couple of pounds a month, just so that I can spend some more time doing my artwork? And he got, you know, his friends and family signing up £10 a year, you know, so £1 a month, £12 a year, or £5, etc. And then he started making paintings for them as like little rewards, like, oh, thank you so much, I'll do your painting. And then they'd be showing them to their friends, saying, oh, look, you know, Graham, my nephew or whatever, made this painting. And their friends go, oh, I really like that. So they go, oh, I'd like Graham to do me a painting. And then when they approach Graham, he'd say, that's lovely. You know, say, how much is it? They say, oh, £200. But if you could pay me £150 and then sign on to my Patreon account for whatever you want to make up the difference, then he's got a recurring revenue for the rest of the year, instead of just taking all the money in one go. And so he's starting to create awareness. And so then we were chatting, and I said, well, why don't you think about the card idea as a reward? So he's created this Karma card reward system. So from the paintings he's done over the last 6 months, he's then created cards, and he sent them out to everyone. And he said, as a thank you for the cards, could you do a little film of yourself opening the cards and tag me and say thank you for the cards, and how, you know, about my Patreon account. So he's been doing that, and people have been posting these videos up on their own social media. So he's only got a few hundred followers, and they've only got a few hundred followers, but they're the right followers. And now he's got loads more people signing on to his Patreon at a very low amount of money, £2, £3, £5, £10 a month. And they're going, oh, I really want some of those cards. And so you can see how this relationship funnel to build awareness, and then the next point in it, interest, is working for him. So it's not relying heavily on social media. It's using social media within the context of how it works really well, which is to be engaged and have engagement and proper relationships. But it's not going, I just need 1 million followers, because that just does not work. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work, because Facebook and Instagram are in charge of your followers, not you. And they will decide how many people they show it to. And if you haven't got real engagement, and you're not having proper conversations, and people aren't tagging you, and they can see you're behaving properly with the platform, they'll show it to no one. They'll literally show it to 3 people, even if you've got 10,000 followers. So they're in charge of that. This way, you're more in charge of it. You're not seeking to have loads of people. You're seeking to have the right people to create awareness and interest in what you're doing. Then you get down to the next bit, which is the decision making and the action. And those people now they're building really good relationships with you, and they're having lots of touch points with you, and they're having fun. So then they're going, oh, that's great. Oh, Auntie Mildred or Cousin Alfred had a painting by Graham, and it was great. And so I'd really like one. So now they're going, oh, right, now I'm invested. I'm invested in Graham, and I want to see him do well. I'm one of his patrons. I want to see him do well. So I'm going to have one, and then I'm going to show it to my followers, who then start going, oh, hang on, back up the system. How did that work? Starting to look at it. And then they start taking action. So that's how you build a relationship funnel, and you do it in a way that you're in control of. So I'd encourage you all to have a look at that Patreon platform, have an explore and see. It's like a crowdfunding platform, but you can put unique content through it. You can put blog posts through it just to the people who, so you know they're your followers, you own them. Patreon doesn't behave like Facebook and Instagram. You own them. We have a Patreon account, Pure have a Patreon account. We put unique blog content in there for our collectors. So we work in there just with our collectors, and we put unique content in there for them. And we're going to be building more of that as we go forward from here. And we're going to really start looking after our collectors through Patreon, as opposed to relying on them finding us randomly or being shown our stuff randomly on some social media platform. So the way forward that we will be building awareness and interest and creating the decision making with our collectors is through our regular mailing, and that's why we did the surveys, and through Patreon. And you put unique content in there that everyone who's a patron will guarantee to see. You put video in there. So have a look at it and see what you think and see what questions you've got, because I'm going to be interviewing Graham in March, and he is an absolute guru on this. He has literally given up his day job now, 18 months in. 2 days ago, he messaged me, he said, Leslie, I think I'm ready. I'm going to quit the day job. I was like, okay then. But he's got enough recurring revenue now to replace, from this Patreon system, to replace his very, very good salary selling. He sold advertising. So he was earning like 4 or 5 grand a month selling advertising. And he's been able to give up that job within 18 months by thinking outside the box, not relying on social media to build followers, but using it as part of the interest, engagement and relationship aspect, but managing his own followers himself through Patreon and through his email list. So have a look at that. Start thinking about how you build awareness with and relationships with people who might be interested in your work, and how you can grow that gradually. And then how you can build in ways for them to start making decisions and take action towards whatever your target is, whether that might be getting them to look at your website. That might be all you simply want them to do. Or you want them to subscribe to your email list, or, because you're in charge of that. And then you can communicate with them and you can show them your work in progress and you can show them what you're doing. So this is all thinking outside the box when we haven't got the traditional funnels of art fairs. Still got societies, but they're not taking on new people right now. Awards, they're not happening. Galleries aren't taking, well, I have a few galleries who are starting to take on new artists, to be honest, because we've been working with them and they're starting to be able to sell online a bit more. So that's good. So the galleries are starting to get better, but are more integrated into the digital world as well. But the traditional methods aren't working for you. So think outside the box, but think about it in context of that process. The very first thing is that you're thinking about the giant magnet into the top. How do I build awareness that I'm in control of? So there's no point just building loads of followers on Facebook and Instagram if you're not going to post literally every day and be on there 24/7, engaging with those followers, having conversations with them. None of us have got time in our lives for that. And I spoke on Friday about this new social media platform called Clubhouse that's coming online, which is an completely audio platform. It's not recorded. You have to be there in the room, in the conversation live. And if you're not, it's gone. Once the room's closed, some of the rooms last for an hour, some of them last for 10 hours, some of them last an entire 24-hour period. But you have to be in the room live, listening to the conversation. It's like turning up at the club and being there live. And if you're not, you'll never know what they spoke about. I was on one this morning, which was rethinking, what was it called? Rethinking your habits. And for time management. And I'm going to, on the 1st of March, the very first one of the March set of Clubhouse events, is going to be on time management, because this came through loud and clear in the survey. There were a few things that came through loud and clear. One of them was confidence building, time management are two of the things that you really want to hear about. And sales funnels. How do I sell? So I'm addressing the sales funnel, how do I sell in this new world with you today? So you can start thinking about that. And then when you listen to the people who come onto the talks, you can start thinking, okay, how can I make that purposeful now? Now knowing how that system works, how can I use that information now purposefully, consciously, to help me get to my target? So we're going to give you the content. You're going to think about how to use it for you, because everybody will have a different desire, a different appetite. Some people will want to sell 1 painting a year. Someone will want to sell 100 paintings a year. One will want to sell 1 sculpture. Someone like Sophie might want to sell 3 art classes a month. You need to know what your individual need is in order to understand how you start creating awareness that you're in control of, and that gets you to where you want to be. There's no point building awareness that gets you not where you want to be. That'd be really silly and not an outcome that you want. And that's when we get disheartened and we feel like, what's the point? Because we've actually set our target, our arrow, to the wrong place, and we're not going to get us where we want to be. So this arrow pointed at, I need to have 5,000 followers on Instagram. What's the point? Is it going to get you where you want to be ultimately? If it's not, don't waste your energy there. As I say, this Clubhouse app is great, but I have to be really careful. So I look at what's coming up, I follow certain people, and I set myself a timer. I'm allowed to be in there for half an hour, listening to a particular bit of content. If it's purposeful and I think it's going to help you guys, I'll listen. If I don't, I leave the room and turn the app off. Because otherwise, I'm going to spend 24 hours a day listening to all these people thinking I might miss something important. Well, I might, but that's not purposeful to get me to my target. And my target is to serve you guys really well and to learn. So when I'm doing my one-to-ones, when I'm doing my programs and workshops, I have the best knowledge to give to you clearly and succinctly, so that you don't have to spend hours in Clubhouse or on Instagram or Facebook wasting your time. When you're artists, you should be in your studios at least 50 to 60% of the time making work. That's your job. That's what you should be doing. The 40% is doing the other stuff, the admin and the building your business. Some people are lucky that they can outsource some of that, and you can process and systemize some of that as well. And Patreon is one of those systems that you can use. So look at processes and systems. I was thinking when this guy was talking this morning, how come I can get so much done? Because I know I get a lot done, and everyone comments, how come you can do so much? I'm like, why can I? I don't know. I need to think about this. And it is because I strategize. So I think about what I need to get done up here, and I think forward, and then I put the tasks in, and I start putting in the processes for the tasks. I was thinking, my daughter is exactly the same. Christy's exactly the same. They say to her at work, why can you do 5 times the amount that the rest of us can do? And it's because she's learnt this habit, and I ingrained her in this when she was a child, a small child, because I used to do this when I had 3 children and I was running an art gallery. I'd pick her up from school and I have the 2 boys in the back, and I'd be literally driving home, giving Christy a brief on what we were going to do when I stopped the car, literally from her opening the door. And I'd give her the run through on exactly how it was going to happen from her opening the car door and getting out to going to bed. So, right, you're going to open the door, you're going to walk in, you're going to put your bag here, you're going to sit here, I'm going to get the boys out, then the dinner's going to go on, and then we're going to do this. And she'd get the full brief. And then these are the tasks I need you to do to help us. And then the reward is you're going to have this. And I did that every time when I picked her up from school. I didn't realise it until afterwards. That's what I was doing. But I was systemizing and processing to the point where I realised that she did it automatically after a while, and I didn't need to give her so much detail. She'd actually just asked me, Mum, what do you need me to do when I go in? Because she was 10 when Charlie was born. So she was much older. And so it's processes and systems. And I've done that with my business now. So you'll all notice, I'm sure, if you have one-to-one coaching with me, that you get information from Coach Vantage. And so I log every one-to-one in Coach Vantage. And then that process does the work for me. It books the Zoom, it reminds you twice, it gives me a calendar, it sends me a reminder, it holds all my notes in a secure place where it's all password protected, and it shares files with you. I don't have to do anything. All I literally have to do at the end of the call is set up the appointment, the next appointment with you. That's it. Everything else is done by Coach Vantage, which I pay $32 a month for, and it's all done. It's great. I don't have to even go back and look at that and think about it because it's a process. It's done. The foundation program is exactly the same. I've got the system of the Q&As that are all now recurring. I've put everything into a Dropbox folder so you can go and find it. All your one-to-ones, we know the process of how you're going through. So it's processing and systemizing and making things easy for yourself, and being strategic gives you more time in the admin bit, the 40%, to spend more time doing what you love. So yeah, that's what I've done, is I've, you know, systemized and processed things that I hate, the boring stuff, so that all my accounts are done on Xero. So you'll receive invoices, if you receive invoices from me, via Xero. My accountant is logged into that process. So on the 31st of March, she does all my accounts for the year. I log all of my costs in there. I send her a spreadsheet, job done. My accounts are done on the 4th of April or whatever. Done. Because they're all in a process. Now it costs me money. It costs me £11 a month, I think, to run my accounts through Xero, but it saves me thousands of pounds in my time and accountancy fees, because she gets everything she wants in one place. I take photographs of the receipts, if I have receipts, and they go into the Xero app, and my accountant has access to that. So it's systemizing and processing the admin, understanding what your target is. My target is to be able to deliver more hours of really good one-to-one quality mentoring and coaching. And all of those systems, the programs, the workshops, the Coach Vantage, all help me have more time. And I time block. So I have Fridays off. Now I don't have Fridays off, clearly, but I block Friday out of my diary for no one-to-ones. And that's when I do thinking, and I do strategizing, and I do writing of stuff. If I'm like writing courses and things, I do that on a Friday. And every other day I block 10:30 till 12:30, 2:30 till 4:30 is my one-to-ones. Every other day. And that's when I do one-to-ones. I don't do them in the other hours. They're the hours I do it in, whether it's an hour or 2 hours. Most people do 2 hours. And then I know between 12:30 and 2:30, I have time to do any tasks. At the moment, I am dinner lady at home. That's my dinner lady time. So I make food for the boys, food for Paul, take the dog for a walk, clear my head, all of that kind of stuff in that bit of time. But in non-COVID times, that'll probably be different, because hopefully I won't be homeschooling, and that'll be a bit more time for me to do things that I want to do. So yeah, that's how I block my time out. And then I fit these kind of things. That's why I've blocked it at Monday at 11:30 throughout March, April and May, because now it's in a time block. So my brain knows that's what we're doing. And I don't have to overthink it going, oh, when was that again? What time was it? No, it's in a habit structure. And that's what these guys were saying. These guys who run million and billion pound businesses just verified that's exactly what they do. They time block. They understand how they spend their time, whether that's being hit around the head by a ball like Sophie right now. So they understand how that, so first of all, they data capture. So they have timesheets and they data capture. How am I spending my time? I'm going to stop sharing the screen now because I'm sure you've absorbed that enough. So they data capture how they spend their time. They understand how they spend their time, first of all. So do a timesheet over a period of time, and then they time block. And so they use alarms, and that's another thing that I do. I use alarms, and I was sharing this with everyone on Friday on the Q&A, is I block alarms on my phone. So I have a 10:25 alarm, I have a 2:25 alarm, to remind me, and I have one to wake me up in the morning, etc. So I use alarms through the day to remind me, to give myself 15 minutes before I'm going to do go into the next time block, so that I remember. So all of these things help you make the most of that 40% of time you should be spending on your business and admin stuff, so that you feel completely happy and relaxed and chilled doing your 60% art time, and you get the best artwork and you get into flow, and it's really joyous, because we're privileged to do what we do. You should be experiencing happy endorphins coming in when you do it. So hopefully that helps you with that answer about how can I sell during this time. It's not just about having the most amazing website, because if you haven't built the relationships, no one's going to know it's there. And it's not having millions of followers on social media, because again, if you're not 100% engaged all the time, Facebook and Instagram won't tell your followers what you're doing. It's about thinking about, who is my tribe? Who am I trying to speak to? Because what is my target? And then cleverly thinking, digitally and non-digitally, and I'd encourage you to start thinking non-digitally, how can I serve them and make them really delighted about having this interaction with me, really feel rewarded and delighted about having this wonderful relationship with me, that they start to be interested and then start to make decisions, that I can start saying, well, when they come to you, what would you like me to do? Well, I'd like you to do this. And they go, oh, okay then. Oh yeah, that's marvelous. Yeah, that's easy. You want me to do that? Lovely, I'll do that. And that's where you want to be. I have to say, the surveys turned out to be a marvelous relationship building tool that I hadn't really foreseen. It was part of the idea to just understand what you guys wanted, but actually it was absolutely lovely. And if you haven't filled it in, please do so. I'll send it as a follow-up after this, because it really helps me build a relationship with you, because I understand you better. But it was really lovely, because a lot of people who we don't even hear from, names that have been on my mailing list for 5-10 years that I didn't even know were still reading the newsletters, answered the survey going, just carry on doing what you're doing. I don't really want to go to a workshop, but I really love receiving the newsletters. I love the talks. I love seeing everything you're doing, and it just makes me feel like there's a life out there and I'm connected to it. And I was like, that's great. So surveys, what a clever way to do it. You can send a survey out to all of your followers on your mailing list. Ask them lovely questions. Don't ask them things that are quite trying for them. Ask them like we did, you know, what can we do to help you? What are you enjoying? Use this little guider tool to say, I'm really happy or I'm really sad. You know, we get a real relationship going then, and leave little blocks for anything else. I love that. Anything else? Something else you'd like to tell us? Anything else you're thinking about? And then we got amazing stuff in that section. Really lovely testimonials and things that we were like, oh, that's great. Testimonials are great, especially for engagement. If you pop them up onto your social media, or you go back to that person and say, that's really lovely. Would you record me a little film and post it on Instagram and tag me? So that's what we're doing, going back to people and saying that kind of thing. So think about that sales funnel, I like to call it a relationship funnel. I don't like the word sales, because we're not all about selling stuff. Think about the relationship funnel and where you want to take them on the journey. And have a look at Patreon. I'd really encourage you to have a look at Patreon. So I've talked about that. Hopefully that's helped you. If you've got a question, add it on either put it in the chat if you've got a specific question about that, what I've just talked about, and I'll pick those up in a minute. But now you've had some time, so I'm going to go around the room, and if you can answer the question, you know, just how you're feeling. How are you feeling about that? How are you feeling about life? Where we are right now. Let's see if Frank can get her camera on again. And then what do you want? What's your target? What's your target? Now, having a bit more awareness, what's your target? Okay, Fran's got her camera on. Yay! We'll ask you how you did that in a minute. Right, so you don't know how my room looks, but you're gonna get an idea of how my room looks now. So the first person I'm going to speak to is as you came into the room. So Susan knows she's going to be first because Susan was first in the room. So Susan, can you unmute your mic? And then, yeah, how are you feeling? And what is your target? What's your target?
Okay. I think I'm feeling less this than I was, but I'm still feeling a bit discombobulated by everything that's gone on, and I've been in a process of transition from a job that I knew well and had done a long time. So, but it's getting clearer. But that's sort of how I'm feeling. I think that word sums it up.
Discombobulated.
Yeah. And
I love that word.
My target is to get greater focus back into my creative work and on reaching people as well. So that was really useful what you were just talking about.
Okay. Did you have any specific questions around that, building relationships?
I can't, no, not specifically at the moment. I've got one I want to ask you, but we've got a one-to-one on Thursday.
We have, yeah, so ask me then, they're perfect. Yeah. I'm going to create a little, what I've done is I've done 2 little sections on my pad, and I'm going to create a little like word graphic, a little word cloud graphic afterwards. So at the moment it's got discombobulated and creative focus in the 2 areas. So let's see what that looks like at the end. Should be interesting. Thank you, Susan. Griselda and Jeremy, how are you feeling and what's your target? Can you unmute your mic, please? Otherwise, we can see you smiling.
Yes.
But we haven't got a clue what you were saying.
Well, I'm in a sort of limbo. Not
Limbo?
The exhibition on the Isle of Wight will go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's open to when it will.
Yeah.
And after that, when it happens, I want to get back to my series of Mongolian paintings. And I'm finding I'm missing travel so much, but paintings about India or Mongolia brings it all back, and it helps me with the longing for travel again.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I was looking at Richard Heaps. We're just about to put Richard Heaps' artwork up onto the website as a solo exhibition, because obviously he should have been having a solo exhibition right now. And he was saying, we said, what are you missing? And he said, I'm missing travel. And I now really wish I started taking more photos earlier, because that's like the source material. I wish I'd gathered more source material now. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Gather more source material.
I've got a vast collection of travel pictures, and I keep going back and looking back going back into the 2010s and looking and re-looking.
Yeah.
There's so much there that would strike a chord and might initiate a painting. I mean, we went to Mexico in 2000, and I've not painted any there, but there was spectacular things I saw.
So that's amazing. You've got loads of stuff there to get painting, haven't you? Get working. I can reassure you, hang on a minute. I'm just going to reassure you, your painting's still on the wall, look. I haven't sold it to anyone.
Well, I hope not.
Because you need that for your exhibition. Yes.
Part of the installation.
Exactly. So it's still there. Don't worry. I thought I'd give you confidence. It was still up on the wall. Yeah. Griselda.
Hi. I'm really feeling constrained. Partly because we're now shut down in London. And I just can't wait. I've been so busy this year making new relationships with organizations that are going to do things proactively in the community whilst the exhibition is on in Edinburgh. And that's been really interesting, really exciting to find very like-minded people who want to get on with inspirational things. For one thing, we're going to have a song that is the song of the exhibition in a way. The exhibition is about cross-cultural links and the importance to the artist and to human beings of enjoying and understanding what's going on all over the world, basically. And the song written for children to learn in school, words and music, is going to be one way of sort of getting this message out more generally. So yeah, so that's been very interesting, but I feel incredibly constrained within a space, and that's quite difficult to.
Yeah, what can you do you think? What could you do to help you lessen that feeling?
Well, I suppose when I'm working, it's fine. I'm not even aware of it. But it's in the quieter times that I really want to be outside. I mean, obviously I go for walks, but walks are about avoiding people here in London. They're about avoiding people. I think the most important thing is to get back to Sussex.
Yeah.
As soon as you're allowed to travel.
Yeah. Yes, basically. I mean, I do understand the problems of living in a city, and I just can't imagine how difficult it is if you're in a tower block with a couple of children. I mean, you just must be going completely out of your mind by now.
Homeschooling.
So I think
small children. Yes, I'm grateful my children are bigger. I have to be honest. I think that's my feeling, is grateful. I'm going to write mine on there, is grateful. Yes. So although you're feeling constrained, you are also grateful for all that you have and the position you are in life. Lovely.
I'd like to pop in again.
You're going to pop in again. Okay.
I've been doing a lot more filmmaking, and I've got some new editing software which I absolutely love. So I've put up on Vimeo a film I made about the Durga Puja festival. So I'll give you the link to that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, share the link with us, because we can put that onto our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And also, hopefully we'll get the exhibition up, but then I'm going to make a film all about the exhibition and interviews with the other artists, and then we'll put that up.
Yes, brilliant.
With a much wider audience.
Yes, thinking about the target, what's the point? That's what you need to think about. Where do I need to get this? What's the point? What's the target that I'm aiming for? It might, it's not sales, it's awareness, or it's experience. Just think about the target that you're going for. Brilliant. Thank you both very much. Lovely to see you. Carol Berry. Hello, Carol.
Hi.
Pretty in pink you are today.
Yeah. How am I feeling?
How are you feeling?
I'm okay and in good health, which is something I'm very grateful for, and my family are. But I do swing from feeling, I recognise what you were saying, Griselda, about feeling constrained, and that is quite strange because I live in the countryside and it's easy for me to go out and walk. So I do feel a little bit constrained, and I do recognise that I have some moods that I've never really experienced before, or maybe they were, but a long, long time ago. So it's sort of remembering that I am okay, and putting those darker moods to one side. But I think that's just a sign of where we are with the pandemic. Work-wise, I've been given a lovely commission by a family that used to live in my village, and they moved out because the parents had died, so the property needed to be sold. And all of the 5 children, I say children, they're in their 50s, wanted some drawings of the garden, and it's beautiful. It's not a formal garden at all. It's quite wild. It's just very much like my village, and it's just lovely. And that has been a real pleasure to do. But one of the things that I'm wanting to do from it is to loosen up. I think I'm starting to think, oh, what is it they're wanting? They've seen the drawings that I've already done. So I'm thinking, oh, I better do them like that. And part of me wants to be really brave and just throw caution to the wind and do some really wilder drawings. So, but
so your target is bravery.
Bravery, most definitely.
Your target is bravery.
Yeah,
I think
bravery.
I think you're saying you feel quite a little bit volatile in your up and down.
Yeah.
And that's not surprising if you are seeking to be a bit braver, because your brain will be going, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, and it's having it's not being able to go for a walk or have a coffee with those people that you really want to be with.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably all missing that. And having different sort of relationships. I know Ronnie's always going to go, oh, that's fantastic, I love that. But actually, sometimes I need somebody to say, yeah, but you've done that. Push it. Yeah. I need somebody to say something different to me. Yeah. But I've also been doing, I've got a very good friend who's an embroiderer, machine embroiderer, and she's quite a wacky lady, very successful. She's had to change all her courses, what she would do in her workshops, to online. So I've been doing one of her online, and it's a bit off-piste. It's patchwork, but it's not really, and she wants me not to do patchwork. So it's already starting to go into paper. So I've got a pile of paper today. I'm just going to stitch and draw on, stitch and draw on, and cut it all up. So Jane Emerson, look her up. She's got a really lovely way of looking at textiles, and she's served the fashion industry with small samples of textiles, and that's what she sells.
Okay, I've written that down.
Yeah,
I've written that down. So in the follow-up, when I sent out the recording,
really
I'll put a link to Jane. That's lovely. Thank you so much.
So actually, just trying to push your boundaries. I don't take too much on.
Yes.
Because at the moment it's all quite exciting, all with these drawings and textiles, and sometimes I have to rein myself in. And
isn't that a risk, isn't it? That because we're not going out and we're not connecting with people, that the normal like everyday pressures don't go, well, you can't do that. So we are in a little bit of a tendency right now. I know I feel that as well, definitely, of maybe overextending, having a larger expectation of myself than is reasonable. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean,
thank you for reminding us. Reminding us that we are human and that we don't have to be super people.
No,
we can just be us, and that is enough. Just be us, just be you. That is enough. And I'll Patreon. I don't know how the tax works, Gigi, but I'll have a look at it. I think you can add tax onto it. Thank you, Carol. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Charlie, do you want to have a quick moment?
I'm feeling hopeful.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Considering.
Considering. Yeah.
And that was only because there was a difference yesterday in a phone call.
Good.
But I really would like to be more focused and more motivated. I'm really struggling with being focused and motivated.
Okay.
So I can't create work because I can't think about it.
No, and have you felt like this before? Have you felt unmotivated and unfocused before in your life? Have you had episodes of that before?
Yeah.
And what did you do to get yourself back focused and motivated then? Because you clearly did, because you have made work in the interim.
I think I did a course, and then just it made me feel energized, but obviously now that's not really possible. So now I'm a feeling like I don't really know where at a crossroads, and I don't really know what I should be doing or where I should be going.
Okay, you did a practical course, did you?
Yeah.
We've got.
But I think just because now I really want to, obviously my head is, I think my heart's in New York and my head's here, so that's why. And I think that's what it is really.
You and I need to rebook our one-to-one.
Yes, please. Yeah.
We need to rebook our one-to-one. I've written a note.
Thank you.
You can have a think about that. Nadine. I'm getting a lovely list of words here. It's great.
Hello, everybody.
How are you feeling?
Well, do you know, I'm feeling. I haven't got a special word. I'm just a bit of a mix. I'm a bit of a mix-up. Right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. I'm
Optimistic.
feeling supported and loved, and that's great. An hour ago, I wasn't. So, you know, but so I think like everyone's, we're in and out of it, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
But I'll talk about how I'm feeling now, which is good.
Oh, I'm glad that you're feeling loved and supported and
Yeah.
optimistic. That's good.
Yeah, which is really nice, actually. So,
Good.
yes, it is good. And it is in bulk. It is the 1st of February and we are in the energy of in bulk. So I'm going with that as well, because it's in nature all around us, isn't it? We're seeing signs of spring. We're still in that bit of winter energy as well. So we have that conflict, and I think it's quite normal. And that is really what I'm feeling. You know, I still want to hibernate, but I actually want to get going with the year. So that conflict is there, but that's fine. That is fine. So I'm actually, the way I feel about in bulk is we're getting ready, we're preparing inwardly for the changes that are coming. And that is so what I'm doing this year. And now, and it's like being ready to be sort of reborn, you know, that kind of thing. I'm coming out as something new. So that's the
So what's your target then? What's
Well,
your target for this year then? That sounds exciting.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
I'm excited.
And it makes me want to hibernate again, because it's a bit like, oh my God. So that's where the conflict comes. Yeah, I really want to go, but actually I still want to lie down. So that's me all over, but that's fine. What I want is actually really to get my business and myself, because they're very intertwined, in shape. I really want to get that, you know, really get it all going.
Business
so me
shape.
Personally, and my business.
Business and self.
Yeah, in shape, get streamlined if you like, whatever. But yeah, in a better shape. So, and actually, I'm not saying that's what I want to do. That's what I'm doing this year.
That is what you are doing. You are focused on doing that, and you've already started taking steps towards it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Did some of that time management stuff help? Some of those things, like I was saying about what the gurus do. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
I get it.
It's about tendencies. It's about personality tendencies.
I know that will take time for me, because do you know, it says of such a muddled time, isn't it? I have got so out of routine. I've got so out of discipline, you know, because I'm not going out. And I think you said it earlier, didn't you? You know, we think we've got all this time. Every day I run out of time, and I go, well, I haven't been anywhere. You know, dog walking twice a day, but that's it. And and I'm still puzzled by that. You think I would have got used to that by now, but So
time blocking is good for that. This guy said this morning on this Clubhouse thing. He said, I've been keeping a diary for like the last 2 years, and I've done 900 and so, I can't remember the exact. These are fictitious hours, but I've done 900 and something hours of not eating sugar. I've done 4,000 hours of not eating dairy. I was like, okay, leave room. I can't listen to you anymore. You've clearly got no children. You've got no life. You are sad. I have to leave now, because we have to be kind to ourselves, you know.
That is. We
come to this with a set of tendencies. We have life experiences like, you know, Charlie's experiencing at the moment, and these things come to us, and we have to honor those, and we have to be kind to ourselves while setting ourselves up the best we possibly can to achieve what we want, the target that we want to go.
Yeah, definitely.
So just don't be too hard on yourself.
No, I totally get that. Thank you, Leslie. But I do, at the end of the day, I do my little thank yous just before I go to sleep. And I've included in that now, just tracking back over the day to go, what did I actually get done? Yeah. And then a bit of like, I did more than I thought, because it
sends you a timesheet.
Yes, a timesheet. Yeah, that's helpful, isn't it? It is actually. Yeah, I've got my timesheets. Yeah. It's showing me things.
You only have to do it for a short one.
I know, and it's showing me things I don't like to admit to.
I know, and that's what its purpose is. If anyone wants a timesheet, let me know.
No,
it's a really good way of seeing.
Yeah.
If you identify for a couple of weeks what you spend your time doing, and then really reflect on it and think, is that what I wanted to spend my time doing? Or not?
That's what it's doing. It's really making me think. So yeah, thank you for that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, love you too.
Poor Dean. I do push her. Denise.
Hi.
Hiya. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, feeling very optimistic for the year, that it's going to be frustrating, as in slow, to get back to normal, but it will happen this year. And that I want to feel that I've used the next, 6 months, whatever, really well, to be more focused. Very similar to Susan, to get more focus and being creative, and just get that eagerness again. I think I've suffered from not having courses and seeing people. That's really stopped my motivation in its tracks for a bit, and then Christmas and family, and but I feel New Year and everything, feel much more myself, as it were.
Good.
I mean, I wasn't unhappy or anything, just in terms of career, and being my artist rather than mum and domestic.
Yeah. So you need to refocus and retarget your art
Well,
life.
I feel like doing that. I didn't feel like doing that for a month or so.
No.
I feel like I'm coming back to that.
Good. And have you got plans on how to go about that?
Yes, and just my main target at the moment is to enjoy what I'm creating. I'm not going to worry about who it's for, where it's going. I just want to enjoy it.
That's that thing about, when you look at that funnel that we were looking at, and the target can be you.
Yeah.
You can be the target on there. That's it. The target doesn't have to be someone external. The target can be you and your personal fulfillment. It's just understanding the process, and then who are you trying to create awareness with yourself. So that means you need to go out and do some more personal awareness therapy and development, and access more understanding of yourself. And then you're more interested, and the decision is to be more motivated and to achieve your target. So you can completely change that relationship funnel, depending on the target, into what you need to achieve for yourself. So if it's focus and understanding yourself more, you just reinterpret the line. And what you need to create is a bit more awareness of yourself.
Yes.
Not yourself as a painter, but yourself as a human being, and what you need. And then once you understand that, you can start being like Charlie, delivering more of what you personally need. And that's the target. So yeah, those targets, it's about being strategic.
Yeah.
Like when I was saying about, I knew my target was to get the kids in bed by a certain time, so that I would then have this segment of time that I could use for myself in what I wanted to do. So that was the the strategy to get me to the target.
Yeah.
And I created the awareness in the children of what they needed to do to help me get through there. So yeah, you can use that, that line and that funnel idea for all aspects of your life. So you know where I am if you need help.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
Thank you.
Dizzy, so lovely to see you. You're unmuted.
Oh, it's a long time, isn't it?
You've been a bit of
I've been hiding.
You've been hiding, Dizzy Bracknell. So lovely to see you.
Well, I'm grateful that I'm well, but I'm so sick of my own company, you cannot believe it. It's been a real opportunity to discover what you like, personally.
Self-awareness.
Not really good most of the time, but sometimes all right.
So how are you feeling today? Because you've turned up today, and that's really cool. I'm really pleased to see you.
I decided I would. I often watch. I just don't link in. So I have watched once or twice, but no, I thought today I would take part and see everyone. I'm just sick of my own company, but apart from that, I'm fine. And I've been really working hard on using this year, instead of just doing more of what I do, learning new techniques.
Okay.
So I started off by just going onto YouTube and finding, sometimes they were painting things, not paper making. Sometimes they were you know, just odd things. And I have just played around and experimented, because with no exhibitions in sight, there's no point in just producing work. So I decided I'd use it like I was back at college.
Like a foundation time.
Yeah, just experimenting, teach. And I've learnt some really cool techniques, and I've been gilding stuff.
Oh wow, can't wait to see all of these things.
And I've made heaps of traditional paper and really got my handmade paper. It's still quite rustic, but that's the look I like. I don't want it to be fine paper, because we can buy that, but you can't buy what I'm producing. And then creating work with that.
Brilliant.
So I'm kind of fired up.
Fired up. I'm adding that to my feelings. Fired up. This is going to be a good word graphic at the end of this, word cloud.
And I've just finished some really interesting 3-dimensional shapes out of papaya.
Wow. So we can't wait to see them. How are you? Where did Dizzy go? Oh, we lost Dizzy. Oh, there she is. You're there. People moved around on my board all of a sudden. Have you started sharing any of this with a potential audience?
With social media. I can't.
Not with particularly with social media, but with, you know,
I don't see
in any way.
I've lived like a monk for a year.
You can share it with us.
I really don't see anyone.
Oh, well,
I go for a walk in the village just to see people. I think, there are people out here.
You can always share it with me. You can always send it to me. I will always be delighted to have a look at it.
Okay then.
I think that would be a good idea.
Rightio.
Lovely to see you.
Nice.
Hopefully we'll see you during March, April and May.
Indeed.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Annie, how are you feeling in your gorgeous yellow beret?
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted, love.
Oh, good. Because I'm on my phone, I don't seem able to get connections on my computer, even though it's a new computer. I can't. It's very complicated going through all that system, whereas it's direct on my phone. Direct.
Good. So are you feeling? Is that how you're feeling?
But very
direct.
small.
You're feeling direct, but very small.
Well, I feel absolutely fine. I've not felt any ill effects from shutdown or lockdown. I have missed seeing people now and then, but mostly I've continued working, and I've been working on films for this band called Awareness. I've got their album here.
You're going to be able to see that on the website soon, because we're hopefully loading it up this week.
They've given me a complete free hand as to what I do and when I do it, but I have been doing it continuously. I've done about 5 tracks or 6 tracks, and I'm trying to do them all. I've started with the shortest ones, but and I'm trying out lots of different film techniques or approaches, so it's been very varied.
Yeah. So what's your target then for this year, do you think?
To finish the album.
Finish.
maybe, or and with Paul Chaneur, who is the sort of leader of the band. I've worked with him before when he was with another band called the Zen Bicycle Band. And we had live, so when I say live performances, they showed the films and they played live to the films on the stage. So that was really good, and I think they want to do that again. Lovely.
Well, that's exciting. So you'll be able to see Annie's film in the next week. So as soon as it's up, I'll send out a link of that she's been doing on the website, because we've got an area for film on the website. So if people have got films, then send them to us, and they'll either go on the YouTube or they'll go on the YouTube and the website. Just depends how much time Chris has got, because obviously Chris has to do all the work. I don't do anything. I just say, could you do that? And she is obviously very busy all the time with all of the managing of the website. So it's just, you know, at the moment she's trying to get Richard Heap's exhibition up, but she will, the next on her list is Annie's film. So as soon as that's live, but you can go to the Pure Live YouTube channel and you can see it there because it's already been loaded up on there. Thank you, Annie.
Okay.
Thank you. Gigi.
Hello.
Hello. To quickly answer your question about Patreon, yes, I think all earnings have to be declared. I don't think there's any route. Sadly, there isn't a special, but I will say what I'm doing is I've spoken to my accountant who does my accounts very well, and we're going to do a self-assessment, how to manage your self-assessment like workshop. So I've sent her a case study, and we're going to basically, which she's going to look at, that's resembling an artist and what they might be facing, and then we're going to work through it on a Zoom workshop. So we're going to do that. She couldn't January wasn't a good month for her, obviously she's got all those accounts to get in. So she said probably February or March we'll do the recording of it. So and then there'll be an opportunity to ask your questions.
Actually, that'd be really helpful, because I'm personally, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm spending more money on accountants fees a year than I'm earning.
Yes, exactly. So, and it's annoying because once you earn £1,000, you have to do a self-assessment. And if so, it's over £1,000. If you earn over £1,000, you have to do a self-assessment. And also, if you want to keep your your stamp, your pension stamp, then you need to be registered and self-assessed. And that's really worth it because, you know, I did that when I stopped working with the kids. I registered again and did a self-assessment, even though it said nothing. And I've got full pension.
Right.
All paid up, which I wouldn't have done if I'd, you know, not done that at the time. My dad, fortunately, advised me to do it.
Well, that's really interesting you should say that, because at the moment I'm talking with the national insurance contribution people because of, you know, having worked and lived abroad for so long. I've only actually just contributed 12 years of national insurance, and I'm panicking now, thinking, oh gosh.
Yes, you can add to the national insurance. You can add to it, but it is wise. The self-assessment means that they make your contribution for you if you do a self-assessment.
Right.
It's well worth doing your self-assessment every year.
No, that's it. That's what I
So how are you feeling, Gigi?
Well, I'm sort of up and down. I think I'm feeling fortunate at the moment because you know, we're all well, of course. Gabriella's up in Loughborough. She decided to go just before the lockdown. And she's happy because she's with her friends. She's been, obviously, they've been with us the whole year, off and on. And my son Josh, he's back in London as well, so that's great. So I've got my house back. So that's why I'm really happy. But yeah, it is art-wise, I'm just feeling very unmotivated.
Okay.
And you know,
and what's your target with regard to your art life then, if you're feeling unmotivated? Is that something you want to address?
Well, I think the first thing I need to do is get myself off the sofa and stop watching A Place in the Sun. Because it's just like, what am I doing? I'm just wasting my time.
There's lots of people clapping. They all feel your pain.
It's just horrendous, isn't it? I'm suddenly turned into this couch potato watching TV, which I've never done before, which is just bizarre. Anyway,
at least watch something cerebral. I watched the Queen's Gambit, so I got some idea about what they do in chess now.
Yeah, well, I've watched that as well. You know, I've watched everything on Netflix and everything else.
Am I right on this target? Am I right in Get Off the Sofa?
Well, I think, you know, I've just got to get focused. I've got to get back into focus mode. And I think for most people, I think this January is just such a horrible month, isn't it? And I never thought that I had suffered from this sad syndrome, but I think I have been. And And I think that's my main thing. Now, 1st of Feb today, I think it's great, you know, now I can start trying to be focused.
Yeah.
Because
So think about the things.
And controlling in my environment, I think. And I think, as with a lot of people, it's just knocked you for 6, I think.
Yeah. So like I said to Charlie, think about the things you've done before that have helped you. Now, I know, you know, vision boards are a great thing that you like to do.
Yeah.
So maybe try, you know, some of those old tactics that you know have worked before.
I've done that already at the beginning of January, but it's just, it feels
didn't work.
Like you know, it just has felt like a bit of a lie. I don't know. It's really weird. And I've never felt this so unmotivated as I feel at the moment. And I think it's because I've also been trying to motivate everybody else during the year. Yeah. And I've gotten to the year and I thought, oh, great, you know, we've made it. And then, of course, the lockdown happened again. And I think that's what's disappointed a lot of people. Yeah. And then suddenly, you know.
Yeah, because you're back in that and you're in a slightly different realm now. And I know other people here will be able to, that will resonate with them, because they were like, the first lockdown was really busy and loads of people there. And then this second lockdown, third, having it for many, 25th lockdown is like, you're in a completely different place and you're on your own. And so it is just looking resourcefully inside of yourself and going, right, I know what my target is. Now, what experiences can I draw on that are resourceful? Not the ones that are not resourceful, the ones that are making me sit in front of the place in the sun. That's not resourceful or helpful. The ones that make me go to the fridge and keep, that's what someone said. Their habit is to keep going and staring in the fridge and then going, no. That's not helping. And you know, they're not resourceful habits, are they? They're not helping us. So it is digging a little bit deeper, making ourselves feel a little bit uncomfortable and go, okay, you know, this isn't helpful. I need to dig a bit deeper and find some resourceful habits that I've used in the past that have helped me get where I want, because I want to get somewhere else than I am now. So yeah, that's what I would say to you. And you know, we're always here if you want
thank you
a chat.
My dog's keeping me sane. Nobody else, but
Ted is sat here asleep, giving out good vibes to everyone. Thank you. Thanks. Julia.
Hi everybody.
How are you feeling today? Hopefully super happy, because we've sorted out all your videos.
Sorted out what?
We've sorted out all the videos.
Oh, the videos. No, that's wonderful. I've yet to sit down and listen to them, because I want a concentrated moment. Anyway, I realize that I in fact, okay, so one word that comes to me is refocus. I've got a piece of work on the table in the studio, and it's got to the point where I want to be able to put the visual dynamic in a certain area of it, but it's not the right place. Okay, the place has changed, and that actually is quite illustrative of the fact that I am about to change place. So this is a period of kind of detaching, like Jeremy is saying he's looking at his photos because they're so important to him. I've just gone through 5 drawers of photographs and said to myself, I don't need them. And I've just extracted perhaps a handful that I might want to go back to as prompters. So, so that was an interesting contrast. And
decluttering, especially now, is important.
I'm stripping and stripping every time I turn around. So that's good, because that is a life, it's a life thing. It's not actually to do with moving. I could move the lot if I really had to, but I don't want my children to have to go through all the bits and pieces that are irrelevant to me now. Doesn't really seem very fair, actually. They've got enough on their plates. So, and that will feel very good. Doesn't feel particularly good at the moment because it takes so much longer. And then I think there is an annual thing for me, irrespective of lockdown, which is that in the winter months, I work in the shadow. And that's not the same as being depressed or having sad, because I'm fortunate enough not to suffer from either of those. But it's a feeling that I'm actually dealing with my own shadow and the shadow that I perceive. So I'm really relieved when we get to February, because February feels a whole load better.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of come up for air and think, oh gosh, well, that was just that again. So I'm handing over certain things on the environment, and that's good, because that is it's been such a big chunk of daily time, really. And
Brilliant.
then I realize I'm very good at what I would call Cinderella jobs. I'm sure other people are too, you know. You think, well, I have to do that today because that actually has to be done today. And then there's no room because there's too much. And like a good friend of mine said, well, if what you've got to do is too much, just do one much.
That's very good. I love that.
Which I really like, and I do refer to that every so often. So, you know, I can go up to the barn and I will sort fleece and I will do this and do that, and then I think I've bloody done it again, haven't I?
Cinderella. I love that analogy.
I've done the Cinderella job
Cinderella
again.
jobs, getting the ashes out of the fire.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's where I am, if you see what I mean. And so
lovely.
this morning I woke up with a great feeling of clarity, bored Sophie for half an hour and said, I need to strip out my social media stuff. I don't want to send all these things to everybody. And that's no reflection, because Sophie does a lot for me. So I've not been giving her the right message.
Oh dear, Sophie's up next. Can you imagine what she's going to say her feelings are?
And I was actually feeling rather overwhelmed by communication from people, you know, Pure included, actually, in a way. And I thought, how can I bring this back to a containment that is comfortable? So we're devising a plan, because, you know, you offer us an awful lot, Leslie, and I personally can only take up so much. So
and that's the thing, because we're serving quite a large community all the time, you have to decide which bits of it are right for you and just access those. And there's never any judgment from us. We're never like, why didn't you turn up? It's, you know, like Dizzy has turned up today, and it's just lovely and absolutely brilliant and lovely, but, you know, no judgment from us. You access what you want. It's important to honour and recognise you're feeling overwhelmed, and we're here to serve, so we have to put out the content in lots and lots of different ways and formats, because we serve quite a vast community, and that's why we did the housekeeping. You know, take yourself off certain lists, reminding you don't need to be on 6 lists, you can be on 1, it's fine. And then housekeeping and decluttering is really therapeutic and important to do, but being consciously aware of, you know, your personal tendencies and how it makes you feel, and then doing the right thing for you. That's really important, to do the right thing for you. We're always here, and we'll try our best to serve you what you want. But in the meantime, we're serving loads of other people as well. You don't have to have all of it. You can just take the bits that are right for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my love. Now we're going to hear from Sophie.
Can't even work my computer. I think I find this time of year amazing. January is always so tough, and then you're locked down, and my best friends are in Thailand and Hong Kong and Australia and places, and they're obviously, we're all in the same pandemic, but their countries dealing with it all differently, and everything's up and down, and like realizing how lucky we are that our government's giving people money. My husband's furloughed, so there's a friend of mine, she's like, what's furlough? She's in Australia. Her husband was fired. No one's helping.
Yeah.
So there's this amazing sense of gratitude for that. I think when everything is coming from media, it's hard. It's really draining. I feel like everyone's been really tired in January. Everyone I know is tired and grumpy and frustrated, and it's that near the end. But for us, my husband's luckily got he's high risk for he's got his dates for vaccine, which means he will be fully vaccinated beginning of May. So that we've got till May with the children at home.
Yeah.
Who have gone to school since they were 9 months old, and and that need for stuff. And I think we're doing really well, and we get out a lot. I started running.
Yeah, I saw.
I need to run. Who knew? I now run 6 kilometers every other day and building up, and we need to walk. And so learning that realization and sticking to it. And then some days I'll go, oh, it gets to the end of the day, and it's like, oh, it's been awful. I'm just being really aware of what works and what doesn't work. And I'll go, why has it been so hard? And it's like, okay, I haven't walked enough. I haven't eaten right. I haven't done all that. And then forgiving myself and going, it's okay.
Yeah.
This didn't work.
Exactly. Every day's it's like a new reset, a restart, isn't it? So just acknowledging that didn't quite go according to plan, but it doesn't mean tomorrow has to be like that. Every night we go to sleep, and isn't that part of the Buddhist kind of theory that you go to sleep and you're reborn in the morning, so you can start your new life. So you don't have to drag all that baggage, all that negativity that didn't work from yesterday into today. You can just go, today's a new day. What do I want today? Set my aspirations, set my targets, and have another go. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Start again the next day. Have another go. I love that. I love that concept that it's a Buddhist concept of we die overnight and we are reborn in the morning. So you don't have to carry all that like a massive heavy backpack with you.
Yeah. And then the other thing, so I started the 21-day challenge in January. And then at the end of it, I just stopped drawing completely. I didn't do anything for the rest of January. And I was like, why am I getting really frustrated? It's like, why have I stopped drawing? Because I haven't set myself a challenge.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, I was always having another one for February, and this one's very much more about being expressive. But it's realizing that it's a bit like Julian, this Cinderella. I will do the dishwasher, I will look after the kid, I will do all of these things. And actually it's going, no, okay, 10 minutes, I'm going to go and I've got a sketchbook and I just paint different colors. Every day I do a different page in a different colors or different materials, inks, paints, pastels, anything. And it's just playing with materials. And it's reminding myself that I am allowed 10 minutes to do all this and it's okay. And that's, I think I don't need to finish a picture. I don't need to do a picture. I don't need to do anything. I think with Charlie was saying, actually, that I've done a few little evening courses, different arty ones that have been really inspiring and reminded me to I did a surrealist poetry one. Never done something like that before. It was really exciting.
Yeah. Just want to pick up on that thing about play. I'm just going to mute you for a moment. Is you asked me to do on Hailsham Radio last Sunday, didn't you? So I went on to Hailsham Radio to talk about the therapeutic benefits of creativity, and we were talking about play. And it's really important to play because it reconnects you with your inner child, and it releases a lot of those inhibitions that hold us back, and it gives your brain an instruction that you want something different again. And so don't discourage it, really don't avoid playing. Carol, when you were saying, you want to push yourself and, try something different, playing with no end in sight, no goal in mind. It's just, I'm going to play with materials. I'm just going to mess about for a bit. I'm not trying to create an artwork that I'm going to sell. I'm just having a play. And Wayne Spicer was the guy. And he was saying his daughter is doing her GCSE art, and she's had such a lovely time because she hasn't had the teachers hanging over her going, no, and do this and do that. So she's been able to play at home. And he said, it's been back like when she was a little girl, and she's done so well. Her GCSE art, she's going to get, a really high grade. So that was great. Wayne Spicer, though, terrified the living daylights out of me this morning by sending in an email going, we'll be on air in 10 minutes. I was like, what? Anyway, then he followed it up with, sorry, wrong person. I nearly had a heart attack. I was like, I don't mind, but give me longer than 10 minutes. I can't do it in 10 minutes. I need to psychologically get myself there. So yeah, play is really important. Thank you, Sophie. I was just about to go to the next person. Oh, there's Vivian. Vivian, lovely to see you.
Hi.
So how are you feeling and what is your target?
Well, I'm feeling well. I'm a fairly positive and upbeat person. So I usually look towards the future and think it'll be pretty good as it has. I feel fortunate because for the first time ever, I'm not worrying about generating an income, which this goes back to when I first started doing my artwork a couple of years ago. That takes away a huge strain. It'd be a completely different ball game if I was still working or had to worry about traveling a lot. Fortunate too, because we've just moved house and we've got lovely walks and the coast still on the doorstep, lots to explore. Art-wise, I've not done huge amounts because, well, simply because there's not the exhibitions and the time's been taken with doing the artwork. But I have done, like somebody else mentioned, online courses, particularly in photography, and I think they've been a real eye-opener. I've absolutely loved them. You can do them in your own time, but you also have a focus and something to work towards rather than just do it for yourself.
Yeah, so that's a good one, isn't it? That those online courses give you help you motivate you and stimulate you and give you a focus. So those people who were saying they were struggling with motivation, that's something that you found.
I think it's fabulous, yeah. I mean, like everybody, I miss friends, I miss going out for a coffee, a day out. I mean, we all do, but it isn't so much different for me anyway, otherwise, because it's still a mix of just doing my own work and we still, get to go out to shop for food and to get in the outside. I think that's probably something.
What's your target? Do you have a target?
Well, yes, my target, probably thinking more commercially when we've got more time, is to find some opportunities to exhibit and sell online. That would be a target. I like doing the exhibitions that we've had and the local ones, but they probably aren't going to be around for another year, maybe. So I wouldn't mind looking into that. And also for the future too. I mean, I don't know that much about exhibiting with galleries online.
Yeah.
So
we're going to have a look into that because that's something that, like DIY exhibitions, how to do them. Are there, like there were DIY marketplaces where you could sell online. Are there going to be DIY places where you can exhibit and have a little exhibition online? And at the moment nothing's popped up, but I'm talking to a few people about that. I'm gonna have a chat with Tabish Khan, who's the London art critic, in a couple of weeks, and that's one of the questions on my list is, how is there stuff going on that we don't know about that is like creating platforms where you can upload your work and have an online exhibition, because that's what you need an exhibition marketplace, really. And I thought I thought the art fairs might develop something like that, but I haven't seen anything. But as I say, I need to ask a few people.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
An online exhibition marketplace. I'm not going to create one, okay? I'm just going to put that out there now. Just don't have enough hours in the day or inclination. But I've written it down and I will ask a few people, because as I say, I thought that was the perfect thing for the art fair people to do, but I haven't seen anything about it. Thank you. And you're in and you're doing Art 360, aren't you? So that's great.
I am, yes. Yeah.
Exciting. Fran. Get to the last. We've got Fran, Rosemary and Carol, and then we've been round everyone, which is great.
So I restarted my computer.
Ah, it was being naughty.
And the little green light is there.
Ah.
So,
how are you feeling and what's your target?
I'm feeling pretty positive most of the time, but I do go up and down in my emotions, and I recognise a lot of it's to do with my own attitude.
Yeah.
Attitude is really
Attitude
big.
is a massive thing.
I've just realised that in the last sort of 24 hours. And it worked really, really well yesterday, but it's not working quite so well today. But
no, it is all about what perspective we decide to take and what attitude we decide to have, and that's up to us. That's our choice.
But I'm only just starting out on the road of being a full-time artist, so I really don't have any disappointments because I've got nothing to compare it with. So that's a huge bonus for me because I haven't had exhibitions lined up and all that kind of stuff. And most of the time I'm pretty self-motivated, so I'm actually just excited at the possibilities and opportunities I've got at the moment.
And what about a target for this year? Do you have a target in mind, somewhere where you're aiming towards?
It's to concentrate on my studio work and building up an audience for my website.
Yeah, build. I think that's a...
I think my targets have become much more realistic. I think I thought maybe like a lot of us, you've got to do everything. And as Julia said, you offer so many things and you don't have to do it all because there's just so much out there that you have to work out what's appropriate to yourself.
Exactly. I think that's very sound advice. And have a clear target in mind. Don't have, a woolly, so they say SMART, don't they? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So make your target, your goal.
So one of those is getting a good routine.
Yeah, so specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and that's individual to each of us, time-based. And that way if you're missing it, because you're very specific and you know when you need it. Yeah. And that in itself can be quite motivational once you go through that process. Build an audience for your website is very clear, and we've got strategies in place to do that we're working on. So, and it's in your control as well, because that's the thing. Don't set yourself a target where you're not in control of it, because you're setting yourself up to fail, aren't you? Because you're at someone else's will and someone else's whim. Oh God, that's horrible. It's a horrible thought. Whereas if you set yourself a target that you're in charge of and you have the ability to realistically achieve, then you can be working in small steps, because you achieve your targets always by taking small steps towards it. You can't do it eating the elephant in one go. You have to take small steps, slowly towards it. And all of a sudden you'll look back and go, oh, I passed it. Wow. The danger lies in not setting our targets high enough and achieving them.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I would have thought you were going to say setting our targets too high.
No, not setting them high enough.
Is getting audience for your website high enough? Say yes.
Yeah, of course. But it's not setting our targets high enough and achieving them. Because we set ourselves a low goal and hit it. But if we sit there and then just miss it, but we've aimed really high, it's much better to aim high and just miss it than aim low and hit it.
Okay.
So aim high and be happy to miss it.
Excellent.
Brilliant, thank you. Rosemary, lovely to see you. You need to unmute your mic. There we are. You've unmuted.
I'm sorry, I have missed some of I never could quite get on with Crowdcast, but this was Zoom and I'm used to Zoom. So
Brilliant. And you got on okay here, and that's brilliant.
Yes,
so,
no, this was all right because it was a Zoom one.
Yeah, we do a mixture of Zoom and Crowdcast. It just.
But I'm on an iPad, you see.
Yeah, that's why Crowdcast might be difficult for you, because you need to have Chrome to get onto Crowdcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So how are you feeling, Rosemary?
I'm absolutely fine.
You're fine. Good. And do you have a clear target that you're aiming for?
No, I mean, what we've done with lockdown, I mean, it was rather awful. We had a fire.
Oh, no.
I know. I was away, actually, in Vietnam, and it happened with my husband. We got this sort of boiler downstairs anyway. It was a fire, quite a bad fire. So I came back and it was major. So the whole of the last lockdown, we're dealing with all the decorating and everything else, and that was a very good way of clearing out. We had 3 skips.
Oh, good decluttering.
But there's still much more to clear, but I haven't felt like doing it now. So this lockdown, I'm afraid I'm a bit lazy. I do art, not every day, and I just drift in, but my studio's cold. I could put a heater in, but I do go out there. But I think my slight aim at the moment is, well, I've got all these art fairs which I was entering, and they've all been cancelled, but they all may come back again this year if they can. But what I'm thinking I might try and do is say something in the kitchen, just a different type of art, because my other's all oil and it's very messy, and I have to put clothes on, but I might just do some sort of tabletop, something in a different media or mixed media.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. It's like
just to sort of divert. If it's a cold day, I might do that.
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet.
It's not being constrained by the things that are stopping you, but looking the other way and going, so I can't do that, so what can I do? And it's really that's exactly what Fran just said. It's about your attitude. It's having a can-do attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
And not I can't do, but reframing into I can do.
Yes.
What can I do?
Yes.
And always being optimistic. That's brilliant and lovely to see you.
Yes,
we will be doing a mixture of Crowdcast and Zooming. So we'll see you on Zooms, and all the Crowdcasts, all the Crowdcasts will be recorded and then put on, available for you to watch on the
and I could
website.
use my husband's computer, I suppose, but I never.
Yeah.
I'm just.
March, April and May will be on Crowdcast because we will be doing it with other people and they will be recorded. So therefore you will need to try and get onto Crowdcast for March, April and May clubhouses.
Yeah, I could possibly use his computer.
Yeah, but we do other things on Zoom. So I try and, like I said, I try and serve everyone. So we try and make sure that we're doing things across the board.
That's why I haven't managed them. I just struggled so much on my iPad to start with, and it was
you can see them all on the website though, so they're all there to watch if you want them on the watch page.
Yes,
cool. Thank you, Rosemary. And last but definitely not least is Carol, and we can't see you, Carol, but I'm sure we can hear you if you unmute your mic. Let's see. Up there we are. We can hear you now, Carol. I think. Carol, can you hear me? No. Can anyone hear Carol? No. No. No, we're not picking anything up, Carol. No, she's muted again. Maybe put it in the chat if there's something that, if you could tell us what you're feeling and what your target is in the chat, then I can add it to the wall. It's going to look amazing. I'll send this out. I'm going to get a little bit creative. Shocking. And I'm going to make an image out of these words because I think they're really motivating and they really kind of bond us together. They're very bonding. So I think that's lovely. And we'll put them on social media, Sophie. I'll make them for you. You just post them. Or like I'm saying, I'll make them. I probably won't. I'll probably ring Chris and get her to do it because I won't know how to make it look pretty, and she'll tell me off and say it's not within the brand guidelines or something. So I'll have to send it off to her, and she'll have to pure it, put the butterfly in the middle or something. But yeah, I'll do that. It's been so great. Thank you so much. So you all need to go on to Eventbrite and register for the March. All members are free, and any Art 360, but I think you're all members anyway, so it's fine, are free for the clubhouses. But register, because obviously then you'll get the links. And then we're doing right through March, we're doing, it says the schedule on there for the first, for March, and then in April and May, I'll publish those schedules probably in the next couple of weeks. The reason of the delay is just making sure that everybody who I want to deliver stuff for us is available on the particular dates. Sophie's doing a drawing one in March, and I can't remember what you're doing in April and May, but I'm sure you'll remind me. But it's just making sure we do, that's what came through on the survey. Some people want holistic, some people want making, some people want business. So we're going to do it all. We'll make sure that you can come to the weeks when you want and get something of everything. Gigi, come to the March ones. It'll be better than watching A Place in the Sun. And there'll be some cooking to do and some making and drawing to do and a little bit of fitness. I won't challenge you all with too much of the fitness, but I think it's really good to understand, especially as you stand at easels and sit a lot and sit in front of computers. I think it's really good to understand about our posture and everything. So I've dragged my fitness tutor, kicking and screaming, in with us. So Carol's put her hand up. So I wonder if you put something in the chat no, I can't see anything in the. Do try and unmute yourself again, Carol, and see if you can chat to us. Otherwise, we're going to close now. But make sure you register for, as I say, for there. Can we hear you?
I'm not sure if you can.
Oh, I can hear you, Carol. Yes.
I don't know why I can't get the image up. I've been all session trying to get the image up.
Oh.
I'm on my iPad, so perhaps that's.
If you've got a little green light on there that looks like it's recording.
No.
No, that's what you need. It's green or red light, isn't it? Comes up on, I think it might be a red one on the iPad. And that's what you need to know that your camera's working. And it's probably going to be in settings somewhere.
Hang on a second. No, I can't do it.
So what are you feeling? And what's your target so I can add you to our wall?
My target is to, one, get a bit more motivated.
Motivated, yeah.
And get to the point where, I think I spoke to you, get a website. I haven't got a website at all.
So a professional website.
I'd like that to get. I understand, you know, it's not much good really if it's not connected.
No.
Out there.
Exactly, that's that funnel thing. It's like, you know, it's all well and good having it, but it's like anything. If no one knows it's there, it's purposeless.
That's
There's
right.
no point in having the most beautiful website and then you never tell anyone it's there. So you have to work out who it is you want to tell and then think about how you connect with them.
I have been on, I've got on Instagram. I'm not sure what I'm doing when I'm on there, but I am able to at least put some images of my work up there so that other people can see it.
So if you want to connect with other artists, Instagram is the perfect place because that's a lot of artists hang out on Instagram. Collectors really know. That's not a place where you'll go. I mean, you will get some buying, but it's going to be mainly from other people within the creative industries. Buying from each other. You'll get more buyers and connect with more buyers on Facebook, if I'm honest, because buyers are generally, that's where they're hanging out.
I've got a site on Facebook.
So you've got a business page.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure what I'm doing with it, but
no. So we're just posting out some blogs on that. So we've done, I think we've done 3 now, blog posts on Facebook. So if you go onto the read page on the website and click on blog, we've done a whole series of articles on Instagram, and now we've just posted 3 articles on Facebook. So have a
Okay.
read of those, and we're going to do another one just on Facebook groups. Now, all I'd say is word of caution with any of these social media platforms is the followers aren't yours. So it's all well and good thinking you're going to have an aspiration to, that's where you're going to create the awareness, but actually you need to play smarter than that and think about where your audience actually hangs out in the real world and how you can get at them without having to go through social media, because social media controls who you see and
But
who
there is
sees
the
your
worry
stuff.
always, I think, on Facebook. You're not quite sure who you're attracting.
Exactly. That's what
Most of the,
Julia was saying, wasn't it?
yeah, most of the time. I mean, I'm just most of what I send out at the moment is just to family and friends. So I am, you know, sending it more.
Brilliant though, and that's what I was saying earlier about Patreon. Patreon is a great place to set up, to start engaging your family and friends and letting them help you to create a bit of interest. So I know I've got a one-to-ones booked with you a bit later, so we can have a chat more in detail about some of this a bit later. But Patreon's a great start for those people who are in the getting just the friends and family, helping them.
Yeah,
start.
and I'm much the same as everyone else on the motivation side. I know that I've done lots of, I did a course in the summer, so it was really useful. It motivated me then, and I was doing a lot of work on this course. But in actual fact, once I'd finished, I'm now finding it even harder to motivate myself because it's sort of come to an end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, these things that have a beginning, they're quite, you know, self-organized, and they have a beginning and end. They don't have the accountability embedded in them, and they don't have the longevity embedded in them.
I learnt a lot from doing the course, more mentally than the physical art that, you know, that I was doing. I learnt a lot about myself and a lot about why I was you know, why I'm producing stuff.
What course was that?
It was with Louise Fletcher.
Louise Fletcher.
Find Your Joy.
Oh.
It was expensive, but it was well worth doing. It's as much as anything, it's how she is, how she talks to you. Yeah. So it's what you get back that really helps mentally. Yeah, it's a good course to do. She's got another one, I think, coming up in the summer. And she's also able to point you towards other courses and make you more aware of other artists. And a lot of the artists that she makes you aware of, I was already aware of on Instagram. So I was tuned in, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I've done that, and I have days where I do nothing, absolutely nothing.
We all do.
And then pick myself in the ear because I haven't done anything.
Yeah. I think that's completely normal, and don't beat yourself up about that.
I've had a tough year because we got flooded. We've been flooded.
I was going to say, you had a crisis, house crisis as well, like Rosemary, didn't you? You had a flood. That's right.
We've been flooded twice now. So, and it's on the cards. It could happen again because it's drains outside the house. So,
no.
I know it's not happy. It's not a happy situation because every time it rains really hard, I start stressing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I have to learn to, I've had to say to myself, just switch off, because if there's nothing you can do about it, there's no point in stressing.
Exactly.
But
that's that
it's easier
thing.
said than done.
Yeah, that's that thing about, you know, if you can't change it, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
And get over it.
Yeah.
And that's often when people come to me with, this is a crisis, I say, can you change it? It's the very first question. Can you change it? No.
Yeah.
Okay, now we just need to work on helping you get over it. Let it go.
I think I'm going to have to go because my battery's low now.
All right. Well, I will speak to you a bit later. But thank you, everybody, for being so sharing. Hopefully that's helped everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Carol. Because there's been so many similarities, I think, in experience. You know, I haven't got a massive sheet of words. That's the words. So, yeah. So there's, you know, probably about 10 in the feelings and about the same in the target. So there's a lot of shared stuff. So I would encourage you to speak to each other as well. You know, you all know each other. You all know either you can do DMs on Instagram, or you've got each other's emails. Don't sit there, you know, on your own silently. Contact each other and, you know, share experiences and what have you. Louisa didn't share with us. She disappeared before she shared with us, but I'll make her, I'll message her and make her give us her words. So they add to the tree, because that did go on longer than I was expecting. That's 2 hours, which, well done everyone for sitting there for 2 hours. That's because there's quite a few of us. And also it's really important. Shared experience, especially now, is really important. So thank you all for being so generous and sharing. Hopefully my little chat about funnels and what that word means, and thinking about the audience and the target, and not being sucked into all the drama on all these stupid platforms, and life will be a little bit nicer. So yeah, see you all tomorrow. It's the talk with Kate Mason and Eleanor from The Big Draw. That's on Crowdcast. And then on Wednesday we have the making the plaster mold. So if you go onto Eventbrite, if you haven't booked in for that yet, you can make the plaster picture frames and join in with Jane Cordery's exhibition. So that's the 3 things this week. And then the next Clubhouse is for every Monday in March, April and May. So you just need to register, and then you'll receive the link and the password. Thank you all. Take care. You know where I am if you need me. All right, take care. Bye.